You're on.
You want me to speak?
Sure.
Well, all I can say is it's really heartening to see all these people out in Friday Harbor and all over the country. It's thrilling. I don't know what to say. I know you want me to say something important and political.
I'm not sure he's loving it.
To work on overturning Citizens United, but I also have something else to say. A lot of these Occupy protests going on. The militarized police force keeps attacking our movement, keeps attacking the people, keeps hurting the people, and it's just making us multiply. So keep it up, because we're talking, we're here, we're mad, and something's got to be done. Thank you.
All right.
Let's change the world.
Change the
World.
waddle.
Yeah, it's W-O-R-L-D.
Oh, the world.
The world.
The world. Our
For
world.
the better.
Okay, I'll vote for that. You're on.
Well, we definitely need to reform the Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, which makes corporations people. And corporations obviously are not people, they're pieces of paper. And we also need to make sure that they don't have free speech, because if you say that speech is the same as money, then they seem to be able to change the outcome of our elections, and that is not at all democratic. Let's get back to democracy.
Yes.
I just want to say that we're doing such a tiny part. There's people out there in New York and some of the bigger cities who are really fighting for the causes that we are here trying to support them. We're not a big group, but we just want to support the people fighting for our rights as the middle class and the lower class, trying to get the money out of Washington, get Wall Street off the backs of the people.
I think what all the Occupy movements have as common ground is a disgust for the state corporate fascist regimes that are running the world. But I do think there's even deeper problems than that. We should try to remember that the occupation really began when our forefathers came here and occupied a country that wasn't theirs and destroyed cultures that were sustainable and replaced it with this. There's lots of ways to look at the values underlying capitalism, our culture, our materialism, our rationalizations. But wherever you begin, even looking at where the meat you eat comes from and how we treat animals, I think Gandhi, George Bernard Shaw, Tolstoy, the list goes on of people who have said in one way or another, the character of a people is determined by how they treat animals, which most Americans don't care to think about.
On November 9th, there was a riot at Penn State University. Several thousand students set fires, smashed car windows, threw rocks and bottles at police, overturned a news media van. There were 0 arrests and 0 reported injuries. On the very same day, on the campus of University of California at Berkeley, there was a peaceful demonstration. It was broken up by police. 39 people were arrested and several were injured by police batons. The difference between those two events was that the Penn State riot was over the firing of the football coach. It's an incident that I'm sure was considered temporal and no threat to the people in the upper income brackets. The Cal Berkeley event, on the other hand, was largely in support of Occupy Wall Street, which is a movement that seeks to expose how the political and economic system in this country is skewed toward those at the very upper ends of the income scale. Therefore, it had to be put down with force in order to prevent those people from continuing to get that message out, which is a threat to those in the upper income brackets. And also to make those involved in the demonstration appear to be lawbreakers or miscreants who might be viewed as someone who's a threat to the average person and not the wealthy elite. Look at what's going on in this country. The banking laws that led to the subprime crisis are still in place. The banks are still too big to fail. Nothing's been done about that. Unemployment is still a terrible problem. The pundits will tell you, hey, if you're unemployed, go to college. They point out that only 4% of college graduates are unemployed, whereas 9% of the general population is. Well, what they fail to tell you is that in the demographic of people who've just graduated from college, 18 to 24 years old, the unemployment rate is almost the same as the general population. And in addition to that, who can afford college tuition anymore? Rates are skyrocketing. Even if you get out of college, you're likely to be in virtual indentured servitude for most of your life until you can retire that debt.
That's a good idea.
The United States is enacting trade policies which encourage companies to move our jobs overseas. There's just no end to this. So what we're out here trying to do is shine some light on the things that are going on in this country. If you're not out here, then you're part of the problem. This is about you, about your family's future, and about your future. If you're not out here with us, then you're just resigning yourself to many years of more of the same. Thanks very much.
Torches are good.
Tax the rich. This is Zena, and she has one big question. If companies can be people, why can't I?
Is she 18 or older? In dog years?
No, she's 8, in dog years.
Okay.
And she says, I want to be a person. I want to be a person. Right?
We need to work to overturn Citizens United and their 2 bills in the Congress, one in the Congress and one in the Senate, and people need to get behind it and support it.
Interesting that this week that the courts decided that demonstrating in a public place is not protected speech, even though money is apparently unlimited as protected speech. I noticed. I also think it's interesting. I served overseas in the Foreign Service and in the State Department on the behalf of our government. When people demonstrate in a country and the government wants to take out the demonstrators, we always warn them that they should not move against peaceful demonstrators, that that's wrong, that that's anti-democratic, and they shouldn't do it. But apparently our government feels it's do as we say, not as we do.
Very, very important that a number of people came down here today in the cold and the rain, and the number of honking cars and waving we get is making it all worthwhile. Come down and join us. We'll be here next Friday too.
Okay.
I think he's dangerous.
I brought this sign because I think America is for sale. I think that Congress of the United States is totally influenced by lobbyists and corporate money, and I object to that. So that's why I'm here.
It says Wall Street, grow up and play fair or else.
I won't last long.
I'm 5 years old and I'm part of the 99%.
Yes, many layers.
Jim, and this is Meg's first demonstration, so we're very excited.
Okay.
The only thing I would say, for those who are confused about the why people are gathering, it's about corruption. in our government and our policies representing corporations as people and the other 1% who, by and large, seem to be avoiding their civic responsibilities.
I'm a Vietnam veteran who was abused then and continue to be abused by a system that favors the wealthy at the expense of the rest of us.